Hello, Six Pack. I am Sparky, and today I am here to talk to you about Spirit Island, aka Brite Island Revamped, which is the second island of the artificial islands, also the second unnatural island. And once again, the artificial islands is that's just the series that is the revamp of the artificial magical islands. But before we get into any of that, I have a few fun little notes. The first fun little note is I just recorded this entire stream, half an hour of it, and I went to end it. I was like, wait, you couldn't hear a single thing I said. I unmuted the microphone on Streamlabs, but I didn't unmute it on the microphone itself. So I didn't get to give any of the information, which was the entire point of the whole stream itself. Before we get into anything about the series, okay. Some people were like, when I posted my, it was like a teaser that uses the newsflash template I made. Someone was like, you should post this somewhere for people to use. And the answer is I do have it somewhere for people to use. Pretty much everything I use in my videos you can either find online or in my fan kit. Like if you go to templates here, newsflash, this is everything I use for my newsflash stuff. When it comes to some of the word marks, I just cut it out of the in-game stuff. But you can also find other templates here. The sounds shop. I have to add the zapping chart template. It's just a grid basically with all of the islands listed, so you can write where you're gonna zap things from each day. And then sounds shop, I have to add the colossal sounds and separate the monster sounds. But we have tons of useful stuff here that you're able to use. Epic Wellbox template, island icon, elements, including my fan-made elements, which you have to credit me for, unlike everything else, basically. Yeah, lots of useful stuff there. But before we get into the Spirit Island stuff, I forgot to do some stuff on the other, the Slime Island one. So the Colossal for Slime Island, hang on, I should just go over to it, hang on. The Colossal is called Tswana, which is a mixture of sauna and tsunami. Hang on, that's update 1! That's update 1. Just a reminder, it's this one. This is Tswana. Anyway. And while I'm here, the name of the Spirit Island Colossal is called Capsbach. It did not want to roll that R very well, thank you, mouth, love that. But the R's are rolled, I don't know how to say that, my accent's weird. But I also forgot to show off the concept art for Slime Island. So we'll go do that now before I forget about it. Wait, what? Is that two of the same thing? Interesting. That's not needed. So while this isn't exactly concept art, it's an early version of the sky. I ended up changing how the stripes go. Here is the sketch with the flats for Slime Island Update 2. Slime Island Revamped Update 2, I should clarify. An early version of the sky, even earlier than the other one. And this is a version without any of the stripes for easier access to make the island skin. I also have... I'll get all of these out of the way right now, so I don't have to go back to it another time. If we go to the Artificial Magical Islands, the original version of this, there's some concept art that has inspired some rares for the singles. Here is the concept art for Rare Spirit, which has never seen the light of day. And it's changed up a bit from the design that I'm going with. I think you'll see that Saturday, assuming this comes out first. I don't remember. Here is the Tubes one. I never threw it together, but had like a red and green theme for some reason. I don't think I'm gonna keep that. Let's see. Is there anything? Oh, it was behind my phone. Okay. And then the rare... Okay, sorry about that. My phone vibrated. I'm gonna put it on Do Not Disturb so it doesn't do that. My bad. Here is the rare Salimva concept art. That should look quite familiar because the new design is quite similar. Let me see if there's any other rares in here. I don't think there is, but yeah, it doesn't look like there's any more rares. Okay. Anyway, on to Spirit Island, Brite Island Revamped. Let's go over to the island design here. So, the elements of this island are air, plant, water, and spirit, all of which can be bred with each other. And then if you breed any triple with the quad, you'll get Grumpire, which is Shadow. And there's also Dipster and Maple, and it's a breeding island, obviously. We'll get into what you would need for the Maple monster. That will come later, though. So we have a bit of lore here. By all means, when it's raining above the ocean nearby Spirit Island, it should be snowing, sleeting, hailing, anything. The cold conditions would imply that, but alas, there's nothing. No precipitation here, so I guess fun fact, on a technicality, it counts as a desert. You can tell whether the Colossal is awake or asleep by how wide the eyes are open, as well as if it has like details in its eyes, such as an iris, a pupil, and then the other layers of unknown biological terms. So I wanted to give a very like ethereal, whimsical type thing, like a glowing light in the middle of the forest, which I made sure I showed off in the trailer for Spirit Island. And the idea of this like artificially constructed like metallic like ring up here, and then another like half a ring, I guess, and then another ring going around it, sort of encasing this like very unnatural glowing thing. Also, that's in like has a bit of like natural plant life growing within it. It just felt like it fit a very ethereal vibe, I guess. Very out there, unnatural, I should have said instead of ethereal, because, you know. As per the island design, there is an overlay of trees, as well as, hang on, here's the island itself as well. It has like a natural glow to it. And then trees behind the island, because I wanted it to give off like it was completely surrounded. You found something secret in the middle of a forest type of a vibe. And there's also the Awakened version, which if you're gonna put this together with the like island design itself using all the layers, the overlay goes in front of the eyes, because there's a bit of overlap there, and it'd be kind of weird to have the glow of the trees, which are in front, be behind the eyes. But yeah, there is the Awakened design. There's also the island skin, of course. And the locational is the element of maple, which represents Canada. So here we have the Canada flag. I don't know why I said flag. Sign. Oh my gosh. I'm saying the exact opposite of the things I want to be saying. When it comes to the design here, I wanted to incorporate the flag absolutely everywhere. And because of how bright the red is, I wanted to be reflecting off of the eyes. We'll just scroll over here while I'm talking about that, which is why there's a reflection of red off of the eyes here. We'll come back to that overlay. There's the flag here in the middle. Once again, the flag, the flag colors here. I wanted to indicate Kata's connection to this, so there is a little symbol representing them. Some things connected to Canada, capybaras, beavers, of course maple leaves. So I wanted to incorporate all of those into the design. I wanted to reference Chiliesta with the piñata, so that's why I did the capybara as a piñata. And then here is just actual maple trees, and it's the same thing for the flag in the background. There's a big maple tree behind the island itself, which is pretty hidden in the full song version, I suppose. But these are actual maple trees, like ones from real life, like ones from our world, essentially. Now let's get into the indigenous monsters that are exclusive to the island. If I can go to the right folder, that is. Okay. So you have a bit of a spoiler there. Sorry, my bad. First up, we have Has-Spirit, who is the single elemental of Spirit. Something about the way light reflects from snow, creating light in shadow, is perhaps behind why the Spirit single is so bright. Or at least that's the running theory that the monsters have. So next up is Air and Spirit, which is harmonic. This monster is another magician monster's assistant, hence their ta-da! Though they are willing to assist in other forms of entertainment as well. Next up is Guzang, which is plant and spirit. This furry worm-like creature loves to wrap itself around posts. This can make them look similar to plants or trees, vines, like plants like trees or vines or bushes, depending on what type of post they are wrapping themselves around. And that implies that the old design, just the design itself, not the name, is still canon, actually. Both versions exist in the same monster world. Next up is Stridle, who is water and spirit. This design is one that is very old. Like, I redesigned all of the artificial monsters that I was, like, unsatisfied with the designs of. I did redesigns of them, like, a while back. And this was one of them. So, just a fun fact, the different segments glow based on the pitch that their water striding is creating. Next up is Chiliesta, which is what I was referencing with the capybara piñatas, who is air, plant, and spirit. Remember when people thought that it was a Fortnite reference? And listen, I've been in a big Fortnite phase lately, but no, it's just a piñata. It's meant to be a horse, even. I thought it'd be a fun pun to have it be a party animal. So, but anyway, they make their sound by their hooves glowing, which is not my favorite. I feel like that's a pretty boring and very not official seeming thing to do with monsters, is have their sound be made in a way that relates not to the sound pretty much at all. But that's just my own little, like, design philosophy that I try to be better with now. Next up is Weather, air, spirit, or air, water, and spirit. I don't know why I skipped water for a second there. I like to think this monster came to Spirit Island with an interest in the strange weather patterns, and perhaps the species evolved from there, and that's where they've got their name. And if you like the Wisp family idea, then perhaps you will like something that is going to start coming out next month, but really be expanded upon the month after. Anyway, next up is Lily, plant, water, and spirit. This species tends to be a bit misunderstood, with monsters being frightened of it, but really this monster just enjoys headbanging to the song of whatever island they travel to. They just coincidentally also, they enjoy flailing around to the music as well. They just happen to hit the lily pads around them. This monster is a twist of roots with hair-like vines that cover their face. They create ripples from whatever surface they are coming out of, making any solid appear liquid. This otherworldly form of travel leads to them being able to appear nearly anywhere at any time, which has led to quite a few accidental frights. And finally, of the monsters that would just be bred by like looking at what their elements are, Buds, who's had a name change, because in like the original they were light buzzes, but I was like, hey, that name's actually really stupid. Let's just call them Buds. And this is the quad: air, plant, water, spirit. I like to think that these monsters come from like the unnatural light of the island, like liquefying and then solidifying. 2 different degrees. Perhaps some are a bit like squishier, but then because of this excess energy related to the colossal, it leads the colossal to have enough strength to be able to keep its eyes open a bit. Not enough to open fully, and not enough to wake up, but like, or at least on its own. But enough to have the eyes still be open. While we're here, let's look at extra stuff. Here is the Buds without the glowing effect. And then here is essentially it's the shadow of Has-Spirit, but it's not a shadow, it's light reflection on the ground. Think of like what Fiddlement does. And then here is the shadowless version of Has-Spirit. So you're able to put them at any height basically above the ground. Once again, spoilers there, I'm so sorry. So next up on locationals, we have Kata, which is the maple locational, representing Canada. And this monster is bred with Chiliesta and weather. While maple tends to be associated with Kata as, like, that species of tree leaking through from our world is quite a rare sight, they protect all types of trees, especially in harsh environments. Some say that this connection comes from a vision that an ancient Kata had, where it saw this, like, world tree type thing, where there were numerous worlds being held up by a tree, with the monster world being one of them. But time has a way of twisting stories, and no one can truly say anymore, but either way, it does not stop the Kata from its mission of being the protectors of trees, whether it be spine trees, mangroves. They are on a mission to preserve, making any Vivane proud, really. And spine trees are the types of trees that are, like, by default at the, like, surrounding the area of Spirit Island. And my friend Benny had some lovely, like, made a little reference just as a joke, and I really liked the idea. So, possible names for placing this monster would be Laura, Bunsel, Seller, Truff, Tawdry, Norma, and O'Hare. So that's a fun little movie movie. It's a movie adaptation reference. So finally, this time I'm not going to forget, concept art. Here is the very original concept design from back when I just thought it would be Brite Island Revamped. No Spirit Island name was in my mind at all. But I just think it's fun that it still fits. Of course, had the trees in front, just very roughly sketched out. Most of the monsters stayed relatively the same as these sketches. Of course, we have Has-Spirit. Chiliesta got a bit darker due to the texture that was applied to them. Gazang and Harmonic and Weather all remain the same. Light buzzes, very similar to this concept seen here. Lily, I wasn't satisfied, so I come back to it later. But here are the concepts from before those ones. Here is a scrapped version of Lily, like an even earlier version. Apparently I decided I didn't really into the scary aspect as much, at least. And then here is like, I just thought this version was too much. I like all the personalities, but it's just too much for me. Earlier version of Buds. But then I was like, actually, I'm going back to that scarier aesthetic, and that's how we got this one here, basically. It stayed nearly identical to that. I don't remember if I did it on this stream or if it was just the last one. We'll just look at both of these locationals. I don't know why I said seasonals. That's what they used to be. They're not those anymore. So Akata's redesign, if I'm being honest, I liked the way the shirt looked on the original more, but and also the proportions of the legs. Everything else, I like better on the new one. What else? Ingline, I'm not keeping the name change. I'm gonna stay with the old name. I feel like there's just generally just so much improvement. I wanted to expand upon the colors a bit more, even though it's really the same amount. It's the same 2 or 3 colors. I think it's actually the same 2 hues. This is all just yellow. I know it looks green, but yellow looks green when it gets dark. I think. I could be wrong. But I might even change it to be green later on, or at least in the shading. Simply because I want to just add a few more colors, because I did with Amy Rika, considering that concept wasn't made by me. But I'll just get both of these concepts out of the way now, so I don't have to later. With Spirit Island, I have an old version of the eyes, which you can see this in the speed paint video. I hated it when I was making it, but I don't mind it as much now. It was the same color as the sky, same idea as Slime Island. But I believe that is everything. So I hope this was relatively informative. I hope it wasn't too boring. Let me know if you're interested in this. I hope to do the rest of this series actually live and not pre-recorded like this, but considering this is part of an event, I wanted to have it be ready and for sure on time, you know? But that's it. Goodbye. Have a lovely day or night, or whatever it is for you. Enjoy the rest of Independence.